We'll just be homies. We'll just be bros. You could do a lot of stuff with the bros, you know? Go out to the movies, go to dinner, hang out, do a little smooch here and there. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vide, and today I'd like to play a game that answers the age-old question, how to break up with your yandere boyfriend. Before I start, I really want to thank my fellow YouTuber Hello Yinny. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have found out about this game, thanks to her amazing TikTok and YouTube channel, so you should totally check her out too. Hey, Espoir! Eh? The sound of your name jolts you back to reality. You blink, realizing you've been staring blankly at your open computer screen for who knows how long, doing absolutely nothing. Your gaze drifts to the clock on the wall, still office hours, before shifting to the person who called your name. It's your coworker, the one you've been working closely with for a while now. Unlike the person she replaced, the two of you get along surprisingly well. For a moment, you just stare blankly at the files she's extended towards you. They need some last-minute changes before sending them to the client, something about increasing the font size by a point. She mimics your boss's mannerisms perfectly, coaxing a faint smile from you. As you take the files, your fingers instinctively return to the keyboard, tapping out the same monotonous rhythm as always. You still haven't talked to him, have you? What, my yandere boyfriend that I need to somehow escape? A few people pass by your desk, arguing loudly, but you keep your eyes fixed on the screen and mutter, "Not yet." How much longer are you going to delay this? It won't change anything. I know. Your coworker takes a sip from her mug without lifting her hands from the keyboard, then grimaces. Thanks to your boss dragging out the meeting, the coffee's gone ice cold. You can't keep doing this. Weren't you dead set on telling him last night? You roll your eyes dramatically and exhale, knowing full well she won't see it. I tried, but in the middle of our video call, his dog suddenly started throwing up. How was I supposed to drop a breakup on him like that? I'm not that heartless. Was it serious? You try to recall the last message your boyfriend sent you this morning. I think she swallowed something or had an allergic reaction. Either way, I'm sure she's fine now. Soren took her to the vet this morning. Perfect opportunity. Call him somewhere after work and talk. But Soren would never leave his dog alone like that. He's crazy attached to her. It'll only take half an hour. No way. How am I supposed to explain why I'm breaking up with him in half an hour? Impossible. People break up with a single text these days. That's way too harsh. Besides, he'd never accept it. Your coworker suddenly stops typing and turns to you, confused. You don't need him to accept it. Just tell him you don't feel the same anymore, unless that's actually not the case. Your fingers freeze mid-type. Why am I breaking up with him? Of course it is. All right, don't get mad, but if you're so sure about breaking up, why keep delaying it? You swallow hard before answering, as if you've been asking yourself the same thing. Of course, this isn't the kind of question you can resolve in the middle of a workday, mid-conversation, with a coworker. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not as good at breaking hearts as you are. See? More excuses. Maybe you should reconsider. You might regret it later. No, I have to end it. Like I said, my feelings changed. I know how good he is to me, how devoted he is, but I can't return it. Lately, I've even been thinking about my ex. Oh. Defensive now, your voice rises slightly. Not that I want him back, it's just things were so different with him. Maybe Soren and I just aren't right for each other. To your surprise, your coworker nods. That's fair. I'm sure he'll be happier with someone else too. You're right. I'll tell him today, and this time I mean it. And then she totally didn't. Just then, the files on your desk tremble slightly, startling you. It takes you a second to realize it's just your phone vibrating beneath them, but the moment you see his name flashing on the screen, an odd tension coils in your chest. That's hot background. I like that background. That's hot. Your eyes dart to your coworkers. It's him. Unlike you, she looks almost excited, nudging you towards the phone. Perfect timing! Check what he wrote. Whose printout is this? It got mixed with mine. Someone's grumbling by the printer, and your coworker jumps up in a hurry. Left alone, you hesitate. A part of you dreads whatever new complication this message might bring, something that could unravel your resolve. Your finger hovers before finally tapping the screen. You exhale sharply, leaning back in your chair and closing your eyes. Waiting for test results, but they said she ate something she shouldn't have. Sad faces. Hey, love, we finished early at the vet, so I went shopping. Got those ribs you love. Cooking a special dinner tonight. Just the two of us. What do you say? Your coworker rushes back, papers in hand. What did he say? You glance around the office, making sure no one's paying attention, then show her the message. He's making me a lovely ribs dinner. This is great. All you have to do is go, then explain things as kindly as possible. From what I remember at the company dinner, Soren seemed like a very reasonable, kind guy. He'll end things clean, no drama. You have no doubt Soren is reasonable, level-headed even, and yet the thought of having that conversation stirs an inexplicable unease in you. You can't explain why. Soren's the definition of ordinary. Dog, remote job, weekend split between bad movies and you. No surprises, no dramas, just life. Painfully ordinary. Maybe that's part of why you want to leave. Compared to your ex, no, you can't make that comparison yet, not until this is over. With a quick tap of the keyboard, you reply, Of course I'll be there. The rest of the workday passes in a hectic blur, yet somehow faster than you expected. By the time you're packing up and chatting with coworkers on your way out, you realize you're in the best mood you've been in for days. Your coworker flashes you a knowing smile before parting ways. Don't forget to text me updates. I'll be waiting. But the moment dinner crosses your mind, all your anxieties come crashing back down like a weight on your shoulders. You freeze mid-step, earning a few annoyed bumps from passers-by. Oh, right, I see you. I'm walking here. Since you need to stop by your place first, you hurry into the crowded metro and pull out your phone, only to find bad news waiting. We noticed you haven't picked up your dress yet. It's freshly cleaned and waiting for you at Suds and Suds. Don't forget to stop by during our hours. No, Soren hasn't canceled. Worse, you completely forgot to pick up your dress from the dry cleaners for your best friend's birthday party tomorrow. Your stomach drops as you reread the reminder text, double-checking the shop's address and hours. The dry cleaner is the exact opposite direction of Soren's place. If you go now, you'll definitely be late for dinner. Your other option? Skip the party entirely. With tomorrow's big client meeting, your boss won't give you even an hour's break. You can't exactly show up to your friend's fancy venue in some random outfit. Sure you can. I'll wear my most expensive outfit. Swing by the dry cleaners. Skip the dry cleaners. We gotta get this done. The priority tonight is clear. You need to have that talk with Soren. What you'll wear to your best friend's birthday party tomorrow, that's tomorrow's problem. As if I forgot the mission. Here it is on the left side of the screen. You know Soren won't mind the delay, but you refuse to stack another lie onto his guilt. Besides, every minute you delay is another crack in your resolve. If you don't do this now, you'll chicken out. Again. The metro doors slide shut behind you, sealing the choice. It shouldn't hurt this much. Just a stupid dress. Just one missed party, but your chest tightens anyway. You rush home, shower in a haze, and throw on something comfortable before sliding into the waiting Uber. Since Soren's place is quite far from the city center, you have plenty of time during the journey, and the question that has been weighing on your mind for days resurfaces again. Is breaking up with him truly the right decision? If you were to bypass your indecisive reasoning and instead trust your feelings, just as you intend to tonight, you would find your answer crystal clear. You no longer want to continue this relationship. There's something wrong here, something that simply feels wrong to you. Just then, your phone buzzes with a notification, pulling you from your thoughts. Assuming it's a message from your boyfriend, you reach for your phone. The name that flashes across the screen makes your heart involuntarily quicken its pace. Lars? Uh-oh. Oh no, he's hot! He's got the little Superman squiggle. Your ex-boyfriend. Or rather, the ex-boyfriend who has been creeping into your thoughts more and more often lately. Hi, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Sorry if I'm bothering you. I just wanted to know if you're coming to the party tomorrow. Eh? As you read the message, an inexplicable thrill rises within you. Knowing Lars's fondness for crowded, lively gatherings, and the fact that he shares mutual friends with Mia, whose birthday is tomorrow, you're certain he'll be there. But what puzzles you is why, after all these months of silence, his first message is about this. You have no idea. Should you respond? Your fingers hesitate over the screen, your inner voice whispering that it would be a mistake. Yet another part of you burns to know, has he really moved on? And aches to answer him. Don't make me choose. Sure. Oh no, my resolve! Finally, you overcome your hesitation and let your fingers tap against the keyboard. Hi, Lars. Yeah, it really has been a while. I haven't decided about the party yet. Truthfully, since you highly doubt you'll find anything decent to wear by tomorrow, you'll probably end up using your breakup as an excuse to skip your friend's birthday party altogether. Either way, there's no need for Lars to know all that. Okay, so if I do get the dress, then I probably will go to the party and see Lars. Okay. Your thumb hovers over the send, just as you're about to slide the phone into your pocket. Another vibration pulses against your palm. I understand. The speed of the reply surprises you, especially considering Lars was never exactly known for being prompt when it came to answering texts. I also realize my question must have sounded stupid. I just figured you'd be coming with your boyfriend. And if you two were going to be there, I was thinking of skipping it. Now, I'm just as undecided as you are. There's something about Lars's messages so different from the careless, confident attitude you remember that leaves you momentarily unsure of how to interpret them. What you do understand is that he seems less interested in whether you're attending the party and more concerned about whether your boyfriend will be there. But why? A strange unease stirs inside you as you realize that, beyond you, Soren and Lars have absolutely nothing in common. Should you ask him about it? Or should you end the conversation here and focus on the last evening you'll spend with Soren? We're gonna stay? Yeah, don't even ask. We're gonna keep that determination up. Not even gonna ask. Nope. Just thinking of Lars and Soren side by side feels utterly ridiculous. You know them both far too well. You're fully aware of how easily a sulking Lars, who, no doubt, heard from mutual friends how well things have been going with Soren. Yes, you haven't told anyone about the breakup yet, except for your coworker, and when you do tell Mia, she'll probably think you're joking. Could spin wild stories just to confuse you and shatter your peace of mind. What he doesn't know is that today, your mood is already fragile enough. The mere thought of Lars hearing about your breakup at tomorrow's party and how much he might enjoy it is enough to make you momentarily reconsider the decision you've made. Yeah, we're gonna stay focused. Not hit your microphone. Stay focused. As you step out of the Uber, you notice that the light patter of raindrops tapping against the car window has turned into a steady downpour. You pick up your pace, crossing the small garden of Soren's house, an old but sturdy-looking two-story detached home, its renovations perpetually postponed. You rush beneath the pergola. Pergola? You rush beneath the pergola at the entrance, doing your best to shield yourself from the rain. As you press the doorbell, you take a moment to notice how the neighborhood, made up entirely of similar detached houses, remains just as calm and quiet as ever, rain or not. Soon the muffled sound of footsteps and distant dog barks pierce through the hum of the rain. Oh yeah, I think his doggy hates me. Then the door swings open, and there he is. Oh no, he's cute! Despite the difference in your heights, he leans forward just enough for you to clearly see the warm smile spreading across his face. That determination meter should have gone way down just from seeing him. Oh boy. Welcome, love. Come on in. Don't get any wetter. He steps aside to let you in, and as you cross the threshold, the familiar warmth of the house wraps around you. The contrast between it and the cool, damp air outside, or perhaps the weight of what's about to happen, sends a faint shiver down your spine. Just then, Soren closes the door swiftly behind you and turns to face you. Hug him, kiss him, do nothing. Do nothing. It might be best to put a little distance between you and him, especially with the breakup talk still looming ahead. We gotta face this. We gotta face this like manly women. Chin up, chest out, and look out for the shoe.
Chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.
So, instead of hugging or kissing him like you usually would, you settle for a warm smile. Unlike you, Soren leans in and presses a small kiss on your cheek, either unaware of your reserved demeanor or choosing to ignore it. Ah, puppy! They look like they detest me. Just then, the dog trots over to the door where you're both standing, her tiny body trembling with excitement as she begins to growl at you with surprising volume for her size. Why do you have a little eye patch? You've been in the wars. You notice the wet mark around her mouth and immediately understand Soren must have tried to distract her with food before opening the door, hoping to soften her mood. But clearly, she couldn't be bothered to finish her snack when the opportunity to antagonize you was too tempting. You missed Espoir too, didn't you, Princess? Princess is the small, greedy, one-eyed Chihuahua mix that Soren adopted. And though he refuses to admit it, she absolutely has anger issues.
You see, petting your dog is one of the most relaxing things you can possibly do.
Truthfully, with her temperament and the eye patch she wears, Pirate would have been a far more fitting name. Aww. Don't mind her. She always gets a little sensitive after the vet. Oh, of course. No problem. Got my eye on you, pupper. But you know darn well it has nothing to do with the vet. She's despised you from the moment you met, for reasons you have never understood. Not that you can say that to Soren, who somehow still believes his princess is the sweetest, gentlest dog alive. You look at that dog's eyes. You look at that dog's eyes, and you tell me that she's not plotting murder. Luckily, as long as he is around, her hatred doesn't escalate beyond bared teeth and growls. So as you both head to the living room, she settles for glaring daggers at your back. What's going on with the puppy? As always, his eyes soften the moment the dog is mentioned. Yes, definitely. She just ate something she shouldn't have. As you can see, she's already back to her usual self. Even though you and this tiny, angry dog don't exactly get along, you still feel relieved by his words, especially after remembering how anxious he was last night. I'm glad it wasn't anything serious. You were really worried. Soren nods, and a slightly sheepish smile pulls at the corners of his lips. Yeah, I guess I panicked thinking I might actually lose her. I must have ruined your night, too. Hopefully tonight's dinner makes up for it. No. Please don't say that. Accept your fate and let the dog silently judge you through dinner. You think I can't put off your nasty looks, princess? You already know Soren would never actually shut his dog in another room, so you resign yourself to this uncomfortable arrangement. After all, this is likely your last evening here. Oh, you hope you can muster enough patience to endure a few more hours of this. Why is my breakup with him wavering? Just then, as if reading your thoughts, he comes to your rescue. It's almost Princess's bedtime. She'll head to her bed soon. Now I think the hatred will keep her awake. The moment you step into the living room, the mouth-watering aroma of fried ribs spills out from the kitchen, wrapping around you. A single glance at the table tells you everything. The carefully arranged plates, the candles casting their warm glow, your favorite wine chilling in an ice bucket. If he's going to use this chance to propose to me, I don't know. That break up with him wavering thing over there, that's gonna drop right to the bottom. It's painfully clear how much effort Soren put into this dinner, and the guilt inside you swells just a little more. How many of your exes ever cooked a meal like this for you? Better question, how many ever cooked for you at all? Not reheated leftovers, not takeout. Cooked. Fried ribs. I've only ever had them baked. I've never had them fried. Fried ribs. MC, what? Why are we breaking up with this guy again? Was there even one among them who appreciated a meal you prepared? All right, fine. You'll give Lars a pass here. After all, you can't ignore the extravagant restaurants he took you to. But one thought lingers, refusing to be dismissed. Maybe the real problem isn't this relationship, but your own feelings. Maybe what you should do is silence those unreliable emotions, the ones that keep dragging you into the wrong relationships, and finally listen to logic. Maybe instead of breaking up with Soren, you should be proposing to him. Don't give me a chance, don't give me a choice! But why would Soren accept a proposal from someone like you? He has a better job, a nicer house, a reliable car, a beloved dog, hobbies that fulfill him, and a life that seems to be going perfectly well. Meanwhile, you have nothing but a job you constantly complain about, a few old friends, weak family ties, and a bunch of trauma and debt left over from terrible past relationships. The only things you can offer him are your rather feeble love compared to his, some sex, maybe a bit of charm, and a whole lot of chatter. No, you're not being too harsh on yourself. You just want to remind yourself of a truth, that's all. Unlike your previous partners, you've never understood what exactly keeps him in this relationship. Yeah. Could this be what they call true love? Or were you specifically looking for someone your dog hates and you think that's the one? Unfortunately, after your past bad relationships, your instincts won't let you put those rose-colored glasses back on. You no longer believe in fairy tales with white knights rescuing princesses from monsters. You quickly jump in, trying to come up with an excuse for your unusually long silence caused by your thoughts. Everything looks amazing. Even such a simple praise is enough to make his eyes light up. I'm so glad you like it. The food is almost ready. Do you need any help? No need, darling. I've got it. Please just sit down and relax for a bit. Don't worry, darling, I've got it. Every woman in her life yearns to hear these words. Every parentified eldest daughter yearns to hear these words. After checking on his dog, who has now gone to her bed in the corner, Soren smiles at you and disappears down the hallway. While you wait for him, maybe you could do something. Stay here in the living room? Go in the kitchen? Stop glaring at me, pupper? Let's go to the kitchen. Let's wander around. Even though Soren didn't ask for your help, you feel it wouldn't be right to just sit back and relax while he prepares something for you in the kitchen. Besides, it's your last evening together. Of course, the presence of the dog, still curled up in the bed, yet clearly alert, might have also influenced your decision. As his footsteps fade down the hallway, you leave the living room and follow him into his spacious, airy kitchen, nothing like the small open kitchen in your studio apartment. The moment you step inside, you're startled by the sight of the kitchen table already lined with mazes, salads and other dishes. Soren, really, you didn't need to go through all this trouble. He, standing at the counter with his back to you, turns his head at the sound of your voice. You told me lately you've been skipping meals because of work. We need to take care of your nutrition, darling. I don't want you getting sick. Oh, why are we breaking up with him again? You can't even remember when you said that to him. Probably just slipped out during one of your usual phone rants about how your boss dumps all the work on you. Yet somehow he always seems to care more about the things you say than even you do. Your voice quivers slightly as you speak. That's very thoughtful. Thank you. Don't mention it, darling. You know I always enjoy doing things for you, so don't worry about anything tonight. Just enjoy it. Offer to help him, which would be a grand opportunity to do the thing. Listen, break up with him meter. I'm just trying to be polite. I'm just trying to let him down gently. Alright, I'm gonna have to play this again and be absolutely, ironclad, but I wanna help him in the kitchen. Driven by a definite need to ease your guilt, you jump in. I wanna help. I can chop those spinach leaves, for example. He lifts his head from the bowl he's mixing ingredients in and glances at the bunch of spinach you're pointing to, smiling. I think we already have enough spinach for the salad, darling. Just having you here is enough for me. But if you really insist, I'd appreciate it if you could tidy up a bit, especially if you could put those spinach leaves back in the fridge before they spoil any further. Yeah, you wait 5 minutes like, oh, they're spoiled, they're black. Oh, of course. You're relieved to have something to do, and you begin putting away the items that have been used in the meal prep and then forgotten. At the very least, you hope that after everything is over and you leave his house, you'll have shortened that painful phase when Soren cleans up and feels like all of his efforts were for nothing. Meanwhile, your eyes are drawn to a small pile of knives stacked haphazardly at the far end of the table. They're clearly large, broad, and sturdy, no doubt about that, but you can't quite imagine what they'd be used for in a normal kitchen. And despite how solid they look, the knives seem quite old. Judging by their worn handles and dulled sheen, they've definitely been used many times. Even without leaning in too close, you can smell the harsh scent of cleaning chemicals that's clinging to them. Suspicious. Hey Soren, what's going on with these knives? Unable to contain your curiosity, you call out to him, who has his back to you. What are these knives for? Caught off guard by the sudden question, he turns towards you with the pan still in his hand. Huh? Oh, those are my grandfather's butcher knives. When he closed the shop, he sold most of the large tools and machines, but he kept the knives because he loved them. You lightly touch the sharp edge of one of the blades with your finger. They still seem pretty sharp. Do you use them often? He chuckles softly and returns the pan to the stove. They still come in handy from time to time, sure. But mostly, I just clean them now and then to keep them for sentimental reasons. Let me handle them, sweetheart. You might hurt yourself. You're right. I'm clumsy enough as it is. You're just trying to get me away from him. Heeding his warning, you back away from the knives and open the fridge door to put away the last few items from the table. As you do, your attention is drawn to the top shelf, packed with plastic-wrapped packages of meat. Hey, these fried ribs that we're having, where'd you get them? What kind of meat is it? There's a lot of things in this world that have ribs. It's clear he recently stocked up, but there's a problem. Only a few packages seem store-bought. Most of them don't have any kind of label indicating date, type, or weight. Well, maybe he's a friend of Tate Frost, and he gets some meat, straight from the butcher. A chill runs down your spine. What if the mouth-watering smell filling the kitchen right now is coming from one of those packages? Where did you get this meat, Soren? I don't see any dates on them. You can't stop your voice from trembling slightly. They're fresh cuts from a butcher, I trust. They're absolutely nothing to worry about, sweetheart. Might this butcher's last name be Frost? I'd never poison you. You're always safe with me. Oh, that's not what I meant. I meant, is this gonna be one of those games? Your cheeks flush involuntarily, and you feel embarrassed, as if a secret had just slipped out. The memory is still fresh. Your mother, who was never fond of cooking or taking care of you and your sister, once poisoned you, both with expired food, while trying to prove something to your constantly criticizing father. Ooh. It was something you never told anyone, not even Soren. Trying to brush it off and move past the odd moment, you say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, so we weren't assuming that he's some kind of cannibal. You've definitely been eating a lot of meat lately. Just trying to stick to my diet with this new weight training I've started. So tell me, you think it's paying off? I doubt I can give a proper answer with that sweater on. Hey, me, don't say that. We're here on a mission. The words slip out before you can stop them, and you immediately regret your thoughtless remark, but his response catches you even more off guard. I could take it off if you like. As your gaze shifts to him, you catch something intense in his eyes, and you feel a rush of heat start in your belly and spread through your body. No, we're supposed to be breaking up with him. Stay focused. You haven't had sex with him since the thought of breaking up first crossed your mind. That period has been unusually long for you, yet you never thought of it as strange. Soren has always been more reserved and understanding than your previous boyfriends, and intimacy was never a big part of your relationship. But now, you noticed he's being more forward than ever. Unless you're gonna burn the meat. Ah, my resolve! Your voice trails off towards the end of the sentence, fading into silence. It feels like your reason is clashing with your impulses, but before you can tell which side is winning, he turns off the stove with a teasing smile and walks towards you. As the distance between you vanishes, his hands slide to your waist, pulling you towards him. I mean, at this moment in time, we technically still are in a relationship. When his lips touch your neck, you forget everything for a moment, including your plan to break up with him. His warm lips travel up from your neck to your ear, lightly biting your earlobe, sending a hot shiver down your spine as he whispers, I'll take it off after dinner. That way, I won't have to put it back on. Yeah, smart. That's a good idea. The mention of dinner triggers alarm bells in your head, and just like that, you manage to pull yourself away from him and his effect on you, at least for now. He, as if he wasn't trying to seduce you moments ago, continues in a casual tone. If you want, we can sit down before the meat gets cold. Sure. You pause for a moment before leaving the kitchen, trying to make sense of what just happened. What just happened was my resolve fading. Your inability to control your impulses is clearly still a serious problem for you. I mean, come on, look at him. He's got pretty green eyes. He's got a nice house. He's cooking you fried ribs of dubious, origin. And he's hot. Of course my resolve is gonna crack. You vividly remember how Lars noticed this issue and used it against you time and again during your relationship. Oh, okay. Could Soren be about to do the same? No, this guy, no. He could never be like Lars, in both good and bad ways. But could you fall for the same trick twice? Yeah. Lars's charm had been tested and approved by many, unfortunately. You can't really say the same for Soren, but that doesn't mean you don't find him attractive. On the contrary, you feel like he's already succeeded in messing with your head. If you're feeling this way before dinner even starts, you can't imagine what the end of the evening will bring. Still, you know you'll have to take your chance. Your final dinner with Soren begins like any other, despite the tension churning inside you. As the scent of the warm lamb chops he's just served reaches your nose, you realize you're actually hungry. He takes his seat across from you, at the table, and offers an encouraging smile. Please, try it, love. I hope you like it. After everything he's done to prepare this for you, there's no way you could refuse. You pick up your fork under his attentive gaze and bring one of the pre-sliced pieces to your mouth. He already cut it for me, too? You don't need to be a gourmet to know this is perfection. The crispiness of the outside, the tenderness of the juicy center, the way every spice is balanced just right. You've always known he was skilled in the kitchen, but this is flawless. Absolutely perfect. I've never had anything like it in my life. That resolve should just be empty now. I take one bite of that meat and just like, there goes my plan. He doesn't just react to the compliment itself. What satisfies him more is what he sees in your face, in your eyes. Even in the soft glow of the candlelight, you can tell the emotion welling up behind his gaze. Smiling, he leans forward to refill your wine glass. I'm so glad to hear that, love. For the next minute or so, the only sounds are the rain tapping against the window and your utensils against the plate. Even Princess is absent, granting you both a moment of rare privacy. Continue eating. Yeah, I guess at this point, my break up with him resolve is too low for me to do anything else. Your gaze drifts towards the window, noticing the rain outside has picked up. The thought of a car journey in this weather begins to feel more and more unappealing. Besides, you're not exactly eager to leave this warm, peaceful home and return to your own small but chaotic studio apartment. You decide the breakup conversation can wait a little longer.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Mission failed successfully. Well, I didn't want to break up with him anyway. Okay, I've picked the same things up until now. I skipped the dry cleaners, talked to Lars a little bit, didn't ask him about the party. So how about I be a little bit more focused, a little bit, like my resolve is wavering, just a little bit. But I don't care about your cute little dog. The last thing you want to think about right now is Princess. You skip over any updates about her condition without a second thought. After all, she was the one who ruined your video call last night. The one that delayed this breakup conversation to tonight. Instead of offering to help him, which takes a lot of my resolve, what if I just wait in the living room? Don't even worry about it. You leave Soren in the kitchen and head to the living room, deciding to take a moment for yourself and your decision. Otherwise, guilt might make you back out of the conversation you're planning to have over dinner at any second. Of course, you can't compare your relationship with Soren to your previous ones. Among all your past boyfriends, he was the one who showed you the most care and attention. That's all I need. That's all I need. And he entered your life at a moment when you needed someone the most, proving that miracles can still happen in this world. Even so, that didn't guarantee your relationship would last forever, or that your feelings would never change. Just like now. You're grateful for having met him, and for the time you've spent together. No matter how he reacts to your decision to break up, that truth won't change. At least, you hope it won't. I don't know, he's making fried ribs. Why are we breaking up with him? Moments later, you hear his footsteps approaching the living room. And now everything's ready. We can move to the table, darling. Your final dinner with Soren begins like any other, despite the tension churning inside you. Alright, we got it. Instead of continuing to eat, tell him now. Also, maybe save your game, and then tell him now. There's nothing to gain from waiting any longer. You believe he deserves to know why you really came here. And if you delay it much more, you might lose the resolve to go through with it. You slowly set your fork on the edge of your plate and, mustering all of your courage, lift your gaze to meet his. There's something I need to talk to you about. A flicker of surprise crosses his face at the seriousness in your voice. Even so, when he speaks, his tone is just as soft and understanding as always. Of course, love. I'm always ready to listen to you. You take a deep breath, keeping your eyes on his. No stalling, no sugarcoating, no getting distracted by the food, or by the fact that he made you fried ribs. I've been feeling like something's different lately, about our relationship. Though the surprise in his expression deepens, he says nothing. He just watches you in silence, waiting, always waiting for you to finish. And he waits for me to finish? Why are we breaking up with him? I mean, I could have gone into the kitchen and seen a bunch of body parts in his refrigerator, like full-on cartoon foot with the bones sticking out, and be like, I need more time to think it over. Why are we breaking up with him? It's one of the things you've always loved most about him. And also, in this moment, one of the hardest to face. His way of truly listening, of giving weight to every word you say. But there's no turning back now. You have to follow through. This isn't easy to say, but I think we need to break up. The tension in the room is so thick. Your words seem to hang in the air like smoke. His expression doesn't change, but you notice his eyes drift to his wine glass instead of staying on you. You give him space, time to take it in. The sound of rain outside seems to grow louder, pressing into the silence between you. When he finally looks back at you, the warm light that's always lived in his eyes is gone. I don't believe you made this decision on impulse, Espoir. But did I do something without realizing? Something that hurt you? His voice is so gentle, so considerate, that his response fills you with guilt, even though you know deeply this must be hurting him. No, never. Honestly, it's quite the opposite, Soren. Out of all of the men who've come and gone in my life, you're by far the best. The thought of losing you, it hurts me too. Still, none of that changes the quiet certainty that breaking up is the right thing to do. Are you sure about that? You're sure about that? You're not changing my mind, main character. You speak again, quickly, not wanting to give him room to hope. This is about me, my feelings. I just don't think I can return your love the way you deserve. I don't think I can be truly happy in this relationship. He finally speaks, his voice quieter, more subdued. How long have you felt this way? Or rather, how long have you known? You hesitate. Knowing too much detail will do more than harm the good, but you can't ignore his question. Since things got more serious between us, but last month, it's become something I just can't look past. I see. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry for saying this during a dinner you prepared so thoughtfully, but I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. You deserved to know. This time, the smile that forms on his lips is a little forced, wounded, but still kind. Please don't feel guilty, Espoir. Of course, we didn't enter this relationship expecting it to end this way, but not every relationship concludes as we hope. That's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean either of us did something wrong. You realize that by delaying this conversation for so long, you've only tortured yourself, and in a way, been unfair to him. In the end, your coworker was right. Soren accepted your decision with grace, effortlessly dismantling the baseless fears you carried for so long. He's so nice. He's so nice. He even took the rejection nice. Once again, your instincts, those that had pulled you into the wrong relationships time and time again, have proven to be flawed. He truly is different from all the others. In fact, he's perfect. And if you'd ever managed to escape the ghost of your past relationships, maybe, just maybe, you could have quieted the part of your heart that refused to let him in. Things could have been so different, so much better. I'm lucky to have met you, Soren. You don't hesitate as you reach for the hand he gently extends to you across the table. That familiar warmth flows into you, melting away all the tension that had clung to you for days. In this moment, you trust him more than ever. And I'm so lucky to have you, Espoir. You've always been special to me, and you always will be. I catch the glow in his eyes glow brighter, but it doesn't last long. He gently pulls his hand back and slowly rises from his chair. Well then, I think we've come to a conclusion on this unpleasant but necessary matter. How about we continue dinner where we left off as good friends? I'll bring out dessert. Before leaving the room, he pauses at the doorway and glances back at you. Of course, if you'd rather not stay, I can call a taxi to take you home. You narrow your eyes towards the clock above the fireplace. It's gotten quite late. I don't know, is that a dessert, a crème brûlée cheesecake? Yet spending time with him makes you feel better than you have in a long while, and you can't help but think about how lonely he might feel if you left him like this. I could never say no to dessert, especially yours. You notice the subtle lift in his expression, and knowing your choice made him a little happier fills you with relief.
All right then, I'll be right back.
As he disappears into the kitchen, you let out a long breath. There's a strange lightness in your chest, part sadness, part calm. A moment later, he returns with your favorite dessert, crème brûlée. Why are we breaking up with him? I just said. I mean, I did say crème brûlée cheesecake. But I just said, how are you going to do this to me? I'm trying to break up with you. Stop. Stop being so perfect. Hey, MC, Espoir, in the game. If you don't want him, I'll take him. I don't care if he's got bodies in his fridge. Fictionally. There's still a shadow behind his eyes, but the warmth in his smile quietly assures you that things are okay. The two of you enjoy the dessert while watching a comedy, never once bringing up the breakup again. In fact, the way he occasionally comments on the jokes only makes you laugh harder. It reminds you of the easy, joyful moments from when your friendship was just beginning. By the end of the night, you can't refuse when he offers to drive you home himself. Neither of you speaks as the car glides along the rain-slicked streets, but the silence isn't awkward. It's filled with peaceful acceptance. When you arrive in front of your crowded apartment building, he turns to you. I mean, it's not like we're never going to see each other again. It's just that we won't be a couple. We'll just be homies. We'll just be bros. You could do a lot of stuff with the bros, you know. Go out to the movies. Go to dinner. Hang out. Watch movies, play video games, do a little smooch here and there.
Espoir, I want you to know you can always reach out to me if you need anything. Being friends doesn't change that.
His words tighten something in your throat, but you still manage to smile. The same goes for you, Soren. Thank you. Really.
Good night.
Good night. After a month.
Aw, this is so nice. Nothing bad happened.
Did you make the changes I asked for before we sent it to the client?
You're trying to stay calm, despite your boss's usual irritating tone. Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
Did you double-check?
Triple-checked, sir. Yes.
Are you sure?
Sir, I'm about to, as the kids say, crash out upon your person. Yes.
Then why have they been calling me non-stop since the beginning of the meeting?
Your boss's voice starts composed and ends in a shout, casting sudden silence over the entire office. How should I know? Your unexpected reply draws stunned looks from your coworkers. Your boss's face flushes bright red with rage just as the phone rings again. He answers and puts the call on speaker. A familiar, dreaded voice fills the room. It's the client who has made your life heck lately.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Miles. Sorry for the delay. I was in a meeting. Is there an issue with the proposal we sent?
Your boss's tone is now softer than a purring kitten after a warm meal.
No, quite the opposite. I just wanted to say how pleased I am with everything. The changes you made, though you didn't inform me in advance, turned out to be very appropriate and necessary. Thank you.
Your boss's face goes blank with confusion. Sir, I know how to do my job. Do you know how to do yours? I said internally. You, on the other hand, shoot a smug "I told you so" glance around the room.
I'm so glad to hear that. Unless there's anything else, I need to take care of something urgent.
Of course. Have a great day.
Your boss swallows hard a few times, clearly lost for words, before deciding to pretend nothing happened. He takes a sip of his coffee, only to grimace.
Cold. Anyway, let's not drag meetings out like this again. That's all for now.
As the meeting ends and your colleagues start filing out, you rise to leave, but your boss's voice stops you.
Espoir, can you stay a minute?
You ignore the meaningful look your coworker throws your way and comply. Once everyone else is gone, your boss turns to you with a surprisingly softer expression.
That was good work. How do you feel about grabbing dinner sometime?
That depends, sir. Are you going to turn me into a doll? You pause, a little too long, thrown off by the absurdity of this meeting and how it's now delaying your work even more. Is this a surprise business dinner?
No.
So we're not meeting a client?
No, yes. No client.
Then I'll go ahead and book the usual table for the team. Your boss's face immediately returns to its usual strictness.
For God's sake, Espoir, no client, no team. I'm talking about just dinner. Just the two of us.
Oh my stars. Sir, I know I've got extra curl in my wig and I'm wearing my never-ending story necklace, but sir, please, this is a place of business. This is a place of employment. We cannot be having these kind of meetings. I don't know where all that came from.
Oh, now I get it.
Thank God. So, how about tonight?
Oh, I already have plans for tonight.
In that case, Saturday evening?
Well, actually, a friend of mine was in a terrible car accident. Thankfully nothing serious, but his arm is in a cast, so I need to be there to help him out. Your boss visibly stiffens at this answer, but chooses not to push you further.
I see. Another time then. I just wanted to apologize.
Sir, you are not going to raise your voice at me. And then you're going to try to go out with me? Apologize? Considering your boss's usual angry demeanor, even that could be considered progress. You're busy too. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. Just, if you'd let me leave a few hours early today, I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to pick up the friend I mentioned.
Of course. I hope your friend gets well soon.
When you return to your desk in high spirits after leaving your boss behind in the meeting room, your coworker pounces with excitement.
What did he say? Tell me right now or I'll die of curiosity.
I'll never forget the look on his face when the client thanked him over the phone. I wish I could have taken a photo. Wait, did he actually apologize to you? I got it right here in a voice recorder. As you sit down and toss the files onto your desk, you mutter, "Sort of. He invited me to dinner as an apology." Just then, your coworker, who was raising her mug to her lips, spits out her sip. What? Calm down, you'll choke. Under the strange looks of a few people passing in front of your desk, you help her clean herself and the desk with a napkin. Ignoring the coffee stain on her shirt, she immediately turns back to you. Oh, crap! I never thought he was that type. He seemed like a true workaholic who didn't care about anything except the clients. But look at that! He even found out about your breakup with Soren. So, what did you say to him? Wait, are you saying he was flirting with me? It just felt like a simple thank you to me. Do you have any idea how much trouble we were in with that client? He should be happy we finally made him happy. Your coworker shoots you a disbelieving look. Are you serious, Espoir? Last week I broke my back trying to convince some client not to cancel, and I didn't get any dinner invitations. You consider that she might be right, but honestly, you don't really care. Maybe he was just in a good mood, or maybe he noticed the extra curl in my wig. Either way, I don't think I'll be going out to dinner with anyone anytime soon. You know I can't leave Soren alone after that car crash. So, for a while... Hearing this, your coworker also turns serious and drops the flirting topic. Right. How's he doing? Physically, pretty good. The arm in a cast limits movement, of course. When we walk his dog every day, I have to hold the leash or that little devil will immediately pick a fight with someone. Psychologically, yes? You pause for a moment, sighing involuntarily. To be honest, I have no idea. He seems happy, as always, but the more I think about the timing of the accident, the worse I feel. Your coworker gently places a hand on your shoulder. But how could that be your fault? You don't actually think he crashed because he was driving you home, do you? That's totally coincidental. I doubt that. What I did that night was incredibly selfish. He made me crème brûlée and fried ribs. I showed up to the dinner he had carefully prepared for me and, out of nowhere, told him I wanted to break up. Then I just ate dessert like nothing happened and let him drive me home in that terrible weather. I didn't even stop to think how he might have felt. What if something worse had happened in that crash? I think I'm becoming like my exes. Irresponsible. Heartless. You can't finish the sentence, but confessing what's been on your mind for the past month brings a strange sense of relief. A sad expression spreads over your coworker's face. Espoir, you're nothing like them. You're being too hard on yourself. Right now, what Soren needs is someone by his side, and you're doing exactly that. Honestly, I bet you didn't think about him this much when you were still together. He must be surprised too. Soren, this better not have been planned. This better not be a plea for my attention. This better be purely accidental. In the silence that follows, the background clatter of keyboards and phone rings in the office drift to your ears. You realize your attachment to Soren has deepened since the accident, whether it's from guilt or fear of losing him. The fact that it happened right after the breakup terrifies you. But for now, you decide not to dwell on it. You might be right. Anyway, I need to wrap up and head out. I can't waste the time off I got from the boss. Your coworker reels from the second shock of the day. That man definitely has a thing for women who tick him off. You leave your coworker alone with her brilliant observations and return to your work. After a while, you say goodbye to her and step outside with the well-earned pride of being the first to leave the office. Soren's car's waiting for you in the company parking lot. Due to his arm being in a cast, you've been driving for him, and now you're rushing to pick him up from his doctor's appointment without delay. Still, thanks to traffic, you don't manage to arrive before his appointment ends. Aww. New CG unlocked. As soon as Soren sees you in front of the hospital, he smiles.
You really didn't need to come. I was going to take a taxi anyway.
No way! I can't allow that as your personal chauffeur. How did the checkup go?
It went well, but they said we need to wait a few more weeks before removing the cast.
Though his smile remains, you can detect a hint of unease in his eyes.
Espoir, I understand you're trying to help, and I'll always be grateful for that. Still, if you're getting tired, I can ask another friend for help. You've already done so much for me.
Have you really done enough? Logic tells you to say yes, to say goodbye to him and go back to your own home, to stop living in the guest room of your ex-boyfriend's house. Oh. But your heart says it's too soon. You can wait a little longer, at least until he's fully recovered. With mock seriousness, you frown. Don't be ridiculous, Soren. You'll never find another driver as good as me, and the dog walker, and the chef. Your joke seems to dispel the shadows in his eyes. His voice now sounds lighter, more relaxed.
I'm not so sure about the last one. Why don't we eat out today? I've heard there's a nice restaurant nearby.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying my soy sauce top ramen noodles with a boiled egg in it aren't up to snuff? I doubt it's as delicious as my lasagna that I put together without looking at a recipe.
You mean your burnt lasagna?
Not burnt, extra crispy. Now get in the car before I change my mind and drive us straight home. Aww. Hey! What? You were a bad girlfriend, but now you're a good friend. Neutral ending, C. The dry cleaner is the exact opposite direction of Soren's place. If you go now, you'll definitely be late for dinner. Your other option? Skip the party entirely. With tomorrow's big client meeting, your boss won't give you even an hour's break, and you can't exactly show up to your friend's fancy venue in some random outfit. Why not? Okay, so this whole time, I've been skipping the dry cleaners, but you know what? Let's do it. Why does that break my resolve? Oh yeah, probably because I'm putting off the fact that I need to break up with him. The weight of the impending conversation with Soren already presses down on you. But right now, more than anything, you need this. An evening with friends, a chance to breathe. A distraction! You owe yourself that small mercy. Besides, Mia isn't just your friend, she's your childhood confidant. You could never abandon her on her birthday. Even though I did that in the beginning. You hop off the metro and power walk to the dry cleaners, arriving just before closing time. As you clutch the freshly cleaned dress and step back into the street, a wave of relief washes over you. Tomorrow's party will be perfect. You'll laugh, you'll forget, you'll live. My resolve will go down. But then it hits you. You need to text Soren. A pang of guilt stabs your chest as you hit send. You should explain, but how? Hey, I'm running a bit late. Something urgent came up after work. Hope that's okay. He doesn't even know about the party, or the breakup, and now is definitely not the time. His reply pings instantly. No worries, babe. Don't rush. Be careful. I can come pick you up if you'd like. The message conjures a memory, your last night out together, rushing downstairs in heels, one snapping mid-step. You'd nearly tumbled headfirst if he hadn't caught you. You'd buried that humiliating moment, yet he remembers. Thanks, but no need. I'll keep you posted. You rush home, shower in a haze, and throw on something comfortable before sliding into the waiting Uber. Of course, you don't forget to text Soren. On my way now. The word we sends an involuntary ripple of unease through you, until you remember, right, just him and his dog, like always. Great, babe, we're waiting for you. Tonight you won't tolerate any distractions, no excuses, no turning back. Since Soren's place is quite far from the city center, you have plenty of time during the journey, and the question that's been weighing on your mind for days resurfaces once again. Why are we breaking up with him? Is breaking up with him truly the right decision? If you were to bypass your indecisive reasoning, and instead trust your feelings, just as you intend to tonight, you would find your answer crystal clear. Is the answer in the Uber with us? You no longer want to continue this relationship. There's something wrong here, something that simply feels wrong to you. Just then, your phone buzzes with a notification, pulling you from your thoughts. Assuming it's a message from your boyfriend, you reach for your phone, but the name that flashes across the screen makes your heart involuntarily quicken its pace. Oh yeah, Lars. How should we answer him? Hi, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Sorry if I'm bothering you. I just wanted to know if you're coming to the party tomorrow. Well, I am, but should I tell him that? Sure? My resolve! Finally, you overcome your hesitation and let your fingers tap against the keyboard. Hi, Lars. Yeah, it really has been a while. I haven't decided about the party yet. We are going, though. Truthfully, risking being late for the dinner at Soren's house just to pick up your dress from the dry cleaner only to back out of the party at the last minute would be pure madness. Yeah, so we're going. Either way, there's no need for Lars to know all that. Your thumb hovers over send, just as you're about to slide the phone into your pocket. Another vibration pulses against your palm. I understand. The speed of the reply surprises you, especially considering Lars was never exactly known for being prompt when it came to answering texts. I also realize my question must have sounded stupid. I just figured you'd be coming with your boyfriend. And if you two were going to be there, I was thinking of skipping it. Now I'm just as undecided as you are. A strange unease stirs inside you as you realize that, beyond you, Soren and Lars have absolutely nothing in common. Should I ask him about it? Or should you end the conversation here and focus on the last evening you'll spend with Soren? Yeah, let's ask him. The gnawing pull of curiosity quickly overwhelms your hesitation, feeding your unease. So, whether you go to the party depends on us? Thankfully, tonight, Lars seems to have abandoned all of his old habits, and he doesn't avoid giving you a clear, direct answer. Yes. Or rather, I'm obviously not lumping you in with him. I just don't want to run into your boyfriend and end up ruining the night for both of us. A thought you never would have considered, something that had never even crossed your mind, suddenly surfaces. Did something happen between you and Soren behind my back? This time, even though you see that Lars is online, he doesn't reply right away. Well, you'd be better off asking him that. It's not my place to interfere in your relationship. It's just, thinking back to the past, I wish things had turned out differently. Though you know Lars was never the kind to apologize to anyone, his final messages somehow feel like an apology. Yeah, let's see what Lars is showing us. You admit you still miss him. Everything you once lived with him, the memories, the regrets, the endless what-ifs, comes rushing back to life in your mind. There's a bond between you and Lars, one so passionate, thrilling, and complicated that you could never truly deny it. No matter what you did, it was a connection you could never fully break. Meld! Me too. Uh-oh. The moment you hit send, the weight of what you've done crashes over you. You realize, with a sinking feeling, how foolish you must seem, and deep regret grips you. But it's already too late. You can see that Lars has read your message. I mean, you could send a really quick JK! Psych! Without waiting for any response, you shut off your phone in shame and shove it deep into your pocket, leaning your forehead against the car window as you struggle to steady your breathing. And yet, are you completely sorry for what you've done? That's a question you can't answer so easily. Well, fine. Why don't we look at the family photos and get some lore on Soren? Some Sloren. Heh. Your eyes catch on the family photos scattered across many corners of the room. You've often heard Soren talk about his happy childhood, unlike yours. You get up from the couch and approach a console, picking up one of the framed pictures on top. It's an old childhood photo of Soren, and you're not surprised to see him posing with the same quiet, composed demeanor he has now. The young woman hugging him beams at the camera, radiantly beautiful and effortlessly charming despite her simple dress. You recognize her as his mother, who passed away from illness when he was very young. Behind them are his warm-looking grandmother, and in contrast, a large, stern-faced grandfather, more serious than the others in the photo, but somehow still trustworthy, and clearly the one Soren most resembles. After losing his parents early in life, Soren had been raised in this house by his grandparents, and he had always spoken of them with love. Though they're no longer alive, the love they gave him still lives on within him. Aww. Moments like this make it hard not to envy him for growing up in a warm, loving, and secure home. Even though both your parents are still alive, that hasn't made a difference. You've always felt far removed from their affection. As you continue looking at the framed photos, something catches your attention. There isn't a single photo of Soren's father. There isn't a single photo of Soren's father, who you know died in an accident before he was born. In fact, you can't even remember whether he has said anything about him. You're surprised at your sudden interest in the family of a boyfriend you're planning to break up with, yet a deep curiosity stirs within you. Check the photo album? Well, there goes my resolve, but I want that lore. You easily find the family album Soren had shown you a few times before, sitting next to heavy encyclopedias in one of the wooden cabinets. Your own family never had enough good memories to fill such thick albums, so these held a special place for you. Maybe you'll come across a photo of his father in one of them. Before flipping through the albums, you don't forget to call out to him from the living room entrance. I'm gonna take a quick look at your family albums. Is that okay?
Of course, sweetheart. Whatever you like. Feel free.
The sounds from the kitchen are enough to tell you that he's quite busy. At least until he returns, you can pass the time flipping through the thick albums. Despite all of the dust you end up inhaling, you find plenty of photos of Soren's mother as a child and young woman, and even of his grandparents in their youth. You also spot several dogs, much larger breeds compared to Princess, but no one who might be Soren's father. Just as you pull the album from the edge of the shelf, a small notebook wedged behind it falls to the floor. Eh? The illustration on the cover, a knight in full armor on horseback, instantly reminds you of Soren's fascination with medieval armor and weapons, and you wonder if this might be an old journal of his. This is gonna deplete my resolve, but look inside it! You set aside the photo album and eagerly flip through the notebook's pages, only to be disappointed when you realize most of it is filled with handwritten recipes. His grandmama's secret recipes! Definitely not a vegan's. Every dish features meat. Considering his grandfather was a butcher, you can't exactly blame Soren. The handwriting looks like his, but deeper in, small newspaper clippings glued to the pages grab your attention. Eh? Most are old missing persons reports, accidents, suicides. You're puzzled. He's never been into true crime documentaries or films, unlike you, so why did he collect these as a child? As you skim, one headline stops you cold. Famous actor drives car off cliff, body still unrecovered. The accompanying photo dominates the page, likely because it made the front page. As someone who once took acting classes and still harbors that passion, the story pulls you in. Yet the longer you stare at the actor's face, the more unease prickles under your skin. A soft growl makes you turn. Listen, lady! Listen, lady! I could call you something else, which would be the appropriate word, but I'm not going to do that because I am a lady as well. Princess has left her bed, and is now tugging at a photo from the album you left on the floor. Before you can stop yourself, you shout, "Fluff! Drop it right now!" You lunge for the album, but the dog, now defiant, rips the photo clean in half with her teeth. Gosh darn it! Listen, you're very kickable, miss. I could mistake you for a football one day. Soren's footsteps hurry into the room. Sweetheart, what's wrong? Did Princess do some... Oh. He freezes, staring at the torn photo in your hands. I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice her coming. He takes the fragments, checking the date on the back. This was the last photo we took together, before my mother died. She did it, not me. She did it. This was all her idea. Oh God, what have I done? It's not my fault. It was hers, the dog. Don't blame yourself. At least all the pieces are here. Maybe we can restore it digitally with AI. Or some clear plastic tape. His voice is gentle, but his grip on the fragments is white-knuckled. You've torn more than paper. I really didn't see her. I know. Just bad luck. He kisses your cheek in forgiveness, but you don't buy it, as he helps gather the albums and carries the fragments to his room. You know his mood is ruined. Ah, man. And you've barely been here half an hour. This is what you get for snooping through people's private things. Wasn't my fault, it was the dog! Dang it. My resolve isn't enough. Continue eating. You decide the breakup conversation can wait a little longer. Alright, you know what? Fine, I'm destroying that resolve. We're trying to get this to the bottom. Smooches. As you step closer, trying to suppress the tension building inside you, the scent of his cologne suddenly fills your nose. Fresh, clean, and somehow teasing enough to stir something in you. Before you even realize what you're doing, you rise slightly on your toes and lean in towards his lips. It's already too late to pull back. Soren responds with just the slightest pressure and warmth against your mouth, a fleeting touch. Of course, it remains a simple greeting kiss rather than deepening into passion, perfectly in keeping with Soren's usual reserve in such matters, and perfectly suited to how this evening should progress. With restraint that we're not going to have. As you pull away with a smile, you feel his eyes lingering on you. And, for the briefest second, you could swear the calm softness in his expression shifts into something else. Something more difficult to name.
I know what you're thinking, Soren. You're thinking this night's gonna go completely different, but it's not.
Or maybe it will. I don't know. We're trying to get this meter down. Probably just your nerves playing tricks on you.
A dubious little creature getting up to mischief. This is no good.
Alright. We're gonna make this breakup with him meter full, no matter what happens. Forget about Lars. We're not texting him either. We're strong, independent women. We don't need no sexy man with big old sexy chests. You slip your phone back into your pocket and turn to look out the window. Right now, you have neither the time nor the energy to respond to that message, or to dwell on what might be going through Lars's mind. You know the reason he's been creeping back into your thoughts lately is because of the emotional void and anxiety stirred by your decision to end things with Soren. You've experienced this pattern in past relationships too. But the past needs to stay where it belongs, behind you. Besides, you're not even entirely sure you'll make it to tomorrow's birthday party. Thanks to your forgetfulness, you might end up avoiding Lars altogether, and if he's planning to be a pain, you'll be spared the unpleasant task of having to talk to him. Well then, feel free to pat yourself on the back for this dazzling display of optimism. You narrow your eyes towards the clock above the fireplace. It's gotten quite late. Oh, you're right. Time really flew. I think it's better if I head home now.
Our resolve is ironclad.
Seeing you rise from the table and gather your things, he offers to call a taxi for you.
Would you like me to pack some dessert for you? Crème brûlée. I made plenty since it's your favorite. I doubt I can eat it all myself.
You're testing my resolve, Soren. That would be lovely, but please, don't go through any more trouble on my behalf.
It's no trouble at all.
He gives you a gentle smile before heading into the kitchen. I could feel a little crack in my breakup with him meter when he mentioned crème brûlée. You wait alone for the taxi, realizing he probably used the dessert as an excuse to be by himself for a moment. Even if your friendship continues, you know things will never be quite the same again. As you absent-mindedly scroll through your phone, you notice a message. As you absent-mindedly scroll through your phone, you notice a message from your coworker. You decide not to reply, at least not now. Are you okay? You'll explain everything tomorrow anyway. Or maybe you don't really know the answer yourself. Are you okay? We're sticking to our resolve. We're saying no to the crème brûlée. We're saying no to the attentiveness. It's just too good. Shortly after, the taxi arrives. Soren emerges from the kitchen, holding a neatly wrapped package, and walks you out. Why are we breaking up with him again? Just before stepping into the car, you glance back at him. Beneath the umbrella he's holding for you both, his face is partly obscured by shadows. You can't quite see his eyes. Maybe that's why even his usually comforting smile feels distant tonight.
Good night, Espoir.
Good night, Soren. You slip into the taxi without delay, and soon you're leaving him and his home behind. Despite everything, a quiet sense of peace settles in your chest. Oh yeah, since he didn't drive us home, he doesn't get in a car accident. See, we just had to depend on our determination. You stayed true to your decision. But at what cost? After a month, your boss's face immediately returns to its usual strictness.
For God's sakes, Espoir, no client, no team. I'm talking about just dinner. Just the two of us.
Oh, now I get it.
Thank God. So, how about tonight?
No. Your boss, momentarily stunned by your swift and we ain't doing it. Your boss is momentarily stunned by your swift and definite response, but continues. This is the ironclad, now we ain't doing that playthrough. Then how about Saturday evening?
Thank you for the offer, but what I meant was that I don't want to have dinner with you, neither tonight nor on Saturday.
For the first time, you witness your boss blushing from something other than anger. It was just meant as an apology. I mean, I had no other...
I'm sure, but if you really want to apologize, please do it in front of everyone at the next meeting, just like when you scolded me a moment ago. Unless there's something else.
No, of course, you're free to go.
Leaving your thoroughly embarrassed and confused boss behind in the meeting room, you return to your desk, where your coworker immediately pounces on you with excitement. What did he say? Tell me right now or I'll die of curiosity.
Tried to ask me out. I said no.
I'll never forget the look on his face when the client thanked him over the phone. I wish I had taken a photo. Wait, did he actually apologize to you?
As you sit down and toss the files onto your desk, you mutter, "Worse, he asked me out to dinner." Just then, your coworker, who was raising her mug to her lips, spits out her sip.
What? Calm down. You'll choke.
Under the strange looks of a few people passing in front of your desk, you help her clean herself and the desk with a napkin.
Oh crap, I never thought he was that type. He seemed like a true workaholic who didn't care about anything other than the clients. But look at that, he even found out about your breakup with Soren. So, what did you say to him?
Your hand hesitates briefly from wiping the table at the mention of Soren's name, but you're certain your coworker didn't notice.
Of course I turned him down. Oh, really? You did the right thing. Still, for someone so angry and annoying, he does have a bit of charm, and he's rich. If you had gone to dinner, he'd have enough gossip material to last until our next promotion. It would have been fun to see his flirting skills. If I were in your place, I don't think I could have said no.
Maybe the you from a year ago, before you met Soren, wouldn't have said no to that invitation either. There was something deeply alluring for you about getting an offer like that from a man who was always angry, difficult, and irritating. But now, even while reviewing new job applications every evening, you don't even think of your boss.
You're still thinking about Soren, aren't you?
Of course I am thinking about Soren and that crème brûlée!
You abandon your efforts to clean an invisible stain on the desk and let yourself drop into the chair as your coworker continues. You didn't expect him to accept the breakup so easily. You thought he'd resist, try to convince you that you still love him, just like the other men in your life did. The only difference is, they didn't really mean it when they tried. Did he contact you after that dinner? Any call or message? No, I guess it's for the best.
Before the silence has a chance to stretch further, your coworker quickly jumps in again.
You're right. Did you see that last email from the boss? The same old nonsense, but there's this one thing.
Even the relief of having most of your work done by the end of the shift doesn't lift the strange hollowness inside you. After saying goodbye to your coworker and leaving the office, instead of heading straight for the metro, you start walking down the street. Something in your life feels off. Before breaking up with Soren, you thought it was your relationship. Now, you're not sure what it is. You move aimlessly through the crowded street, drifting like part of the current. You consider calling him. Even though the fact that he never tried to contact you after that night makes you think the breakup was the right decision for him, too. Maybe. Maybe this time you could be the one to make the first move. After all, since things didn't end badly, calling him just as a friend wouldn't be so strange. Just then, your eyes catch a tall man in a black hoodie in the crowd.
Oh, hi. You look a little bit familiar. Hey, is that a rag in your hand, or are you just happy to see me?
For a moment, you almost think it's him. But you're certain he wouldn't be here, at this time, dressed like that. Still, something in you insists that the man who disappeared so quickly was Soren. But how does that one song go? And there's always something there to remind me of the guy that I just dumped who is on the cover of a game that's called How to Break Up with Your Yandere Ex-Boyfriend. Huh. Your silly thought is interrupted by your phone vibrating in your pocket. You check it and see a message confirming that the job interview you faked being sick to attend last week was successful. Yay! A good position, at a good company, with good pay. Finally! Your joyful outburst draws a few stares from passers-by, but you couldn't care less. You feel like you're on cloud 9. Now if only I had a big, beefy, dark-haired boyfriend who makes me fried ribs and crème brûlée! Now you can focus on your career instead of men. The thing that's been making you feel wrong lately must have been this awful old job and your uncertain career. Your new job is going to be so good for you, right? Yay! A fresh start is waiting for you, but are you really sure? Neutral ending, A. Yes, we're really sure. We stayed determined. Ow. Alright, well, as this game is still in development, I guess that's all we're gonna get for now. It is not your pecs covered in blood that will seduce me, Soren. It's that creme brulee and fried ribs. Of course, this game is meant for mature players and audiences, so if you would like to follow this developer for any more development, there will always be a link in the description to the game. But I look forward to learning just how far Soren will go to keep us in this relationship, which, frankly, I think is very nice, and I don't know why we're breaking up with him. Let's just take another moment to enjoy this picture. But unless I missed anything major, please let me know in the comments. I think that's all we can do right now. If you would like to see even more yandere boyfriends that we probably shouldn't break up with, feel free to peruse my channel. And it would actually really help me out if you liked this video, or even subscribed if you want to, or interacted in any way that's comfortable for you. But until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.